Did you see what's going on? Obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down. While it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance, like, I've been talking with these, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We've got some ideas. A speculator, we're going to have some meetings. Like, he's
really?
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
It began with confidence but quickly turned chaotic. What looked like a routine exchange shifted into something far more dramatic. Gavin Newsom appeared momentarily unsure as the spotlight intensified and viewers noticed. Then Joe Rogan entered the conversation with force citing data trends and personal decisions that carried weight. Close behind Greg Gutfeld added sharp commentary layered with humor and sarcasm. What unfolded was not just criticism. It felt like a sustained challenge to a carefully managed public image. The exchange moved beyond disagreement and into something that resembled a reputational stress test.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a fucking con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President.
The focus turned squarely to Gavin Newsom. Confident posture, polished presentation, carefully measured delivery. He projected the composure of someone accustomed to commanding attention. But once Rogan and Gutfeld concentrated their critique on California's policies and outcomes, the tone changed. What might have been a standard policy debate began to resemble a broader referendum on leadership. It was no longer about optics. It became about results. And in that shift, the discussion grew heavier.
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes. Is
it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. It's like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list, and there are some ignoramuses on that list.
Newsom often presents himself as the modern face of progressive governance. Strong messaging on climate, economic reform, and social issues defines his brand. His communication style is smooth and media-ready. Yet critics argue that beyond the polished messaging lies a more complicated record. They question whether ambitious rhetoric has consistently translated into measurable improvements. The contrast between presentation and performance became a central theme in the criticism. For supporters, he represents forward-thinking leadership. For critics, he represents branding over substance.
Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plan.
Energy and climate policy became a major flashpoint. California's aggressive environmental goals are frequently praised on the national stage. But opponents point to rolling power concerns, high utility costs, and implementation challenges as evidence of disconnect. The debate intensified around electric vehicle mandates and peak hour charging warnings. Critics argued that encouraging rapid electrification while managing grid strain sends mixed signals. Supporters counter that large transitions come with temporary friction. Critics say those frictions are becoming structural. The disagreement reflects a larger question. Is California pioneering the future or overextending itself in pursuit of ambitious timelines?
And he's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently. And people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away. Tyrus, did he leave out anything?
When Joe Rogan left California for Texas, the move became symbolic. He framed it as a decision rooted in policy frustrations, taxation concerns, and pandemic restrictions. His podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, carries enormous reach, giving his relocation national visibility. For Rogan, the move was not just personal. It became part of his broader critique of state governance. He frequently referenced lockdown inconsistencies, business closures, and perceived double standards. The argument was simple. If leadership messaging does not align with lived experience, credibility erodes.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to John. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying, move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. You guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the brush.
Rogan amplified voices from doctors, economists, and independent commentators who questioned aspects of California's regulatory approach. Small business closures during the pandemic contrasted sharply with the stability of large corporations. Critics described policies as unpredictable and economically uneven. Supporters argued that emergency health decisions required rapid adaptation. The migration of some tech firms and professionals out of the state added fuel to the narrative. For Rogan, the most persuasive evidence was not a statistic but his own departure.
So, while Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation, what does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X, does it even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention? No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that he's no ordinary politician.
Then Greg Gutfeld entered with a different style. Where Rogan emphasized data and lived experience, Gutfeld leaned into satire. His commentary focused on image versus outcome. He suggested that while the presentation of leadership remained sleek and media-friendly, underlying challenges told a more complicated story. With humor as his tool, he framed California's struggles as contradictions between messaging and measurable realities.
Anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending, I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
Gutfeld also targeted national media narratives. He argued that coverage of Gavin Newsom often emphasized charisma and presentation while downplaying structural challenges like housing costs, homelessness, and fuel prices. He questioned whether glowing profiles matched the experiences of everyday residents facing economic pressure. On climate initiatives, he challenged the cost distribution. Who absorbs the financial burden of aggressive transitions? Are everyday families prepared for it? His argument was not against environmental reform itself but against what he characterized as symbolic policy gestures without practical stability.
When Gavin Newsom talks about California, he's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. It's too expensive. Believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want.
The discussion eventually touched on speculation about Newsom's potential national ambitions. Talk of a future presidential run has circulated in political circles. Gutfeld mocked the idea, suggesting that managing one complex state successfully should precede broader aspirations. His analogy framed ambition as premature branding rather than earned progression. Together, Rogan and Gutfeld presented a combined critique. One leaned on numbers and personal choice. The other leaned on satire and rhetorical pressure. Both questioned whether California's leadership model scales nationally.
Runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow balls.
Rogan's delivery remained steady. No shouting. No theatrics. He pointed to outward migration, business relocation, and visible homelessness increases as indicators of strain. His argument resonated with listeners who prioritize economic data and policy consistency. Gutfeld, by contrast, energized audiences skeptical of media narratives. His sharp timing turned policy contradictions into memorable lines that traveled quickly across social platforms. Different styles. Similar skepticism.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed. The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years due to...
At the center of the criticism was a shared conclusion. Presentation alone cannot substitute for outcomes. Supporters of Newsom argue that governing a state as large and complex as California inevitably produces friction. Critics argue that persistent friction signals structural mismanagement. The debate ultimately revolves around trust. Does the messaging align with reality? Are results keeping pace with ambition? For Rogan and Gutfeld, the answer leaned negative.
When I went there, I had a great relationship with President Xi. We got along very well. And they treated me better than anybody's ever been treated. And I said, this air is good. Do you know they closed every factory 1 week before I got there from within 200 miles?
That's like what Gavin Newsom did when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco.
He cleaned it up.
He cleaned it up. He got rid of all the homeless people.
Isn't that terrible in a way to think, he cleaned it up and then it became a pigsty?
Well, the dumbest thing is he said when your friends come by, when you have visitors, you clean up your house. Like, how about just keep your fucking house clean?
Can you imagine?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I keep bringing up Gavin. Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who...
By the end, the conversation felt less like a clash of personalities and more like a broader cultural moment. Different audiences from different political leanings found themselves questioning the balance between image and implementation. For some, Newsom represents visionary ambition. For others, he represents political performance. Whether this exchange marks lasting reputational damage or just another media cycle remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. The discussion was not merely about one governor. It was about modern leadership in an era where image moves fast, data spreads faster, and public patience grows thinner by the day.